Okay, today we're going to be doing our Unit 2, notes number 11, which are dividing polynomials. So this week we're going to be going over dividing and multiplying polynomials and classifying by the number of terms. So we classified by degree last week, which was the biggest exponent. This week we're going to be talking about the number of terms. And this will kind of clarify whenever we say polynomial, what it means. So if you have one term, so let's say you just have 3x, one term is called a monomial. Okay, if you have two terms, so let's say we have 3x plus 1. You have two terms, 1, 2. This is a binomial. So an addition or a subtraction sign splits up the number of terms. 3 terms, so let's say I have 5x squared plus 3x plus 1. I have 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. So this would be a trinomial. And lastly, we have our famous word that we keep talking about, which is polynomial. So if you have 4 or more terms, so let's say we have 3x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x plus 1. This is 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is considered a polynomial. So even if you have 5 terms, it's still considered a polynomial. Polynomial is kind of like our general term. Monomial, binomial, trinomial, we can say in general. Okay, so now let's start talking about dividing polynomials. So dividing polynomials, we've kind of already done with our exponent rule. So whenever we're dividing polynomials, we divide coefficients, so the numbers in front, and then we subtract exponents. And we have to do this with every term. So we're going to keep that in mind whenever we're doing this, and I'll show you what I mean by each term. So let's kind of go over the area of a rectangle. To get the area of a rectangle, you're going to do area equals length times width. So if we want to find width, we need to do area divided by length. And if we want to find length, we need to do area divided by width. So keep that in mind because the next ones below, we'll need to kind of go over that. So it says given the area of a rectangle 12 and a width of 2, find the length. So all we have to do, we have to find the length. So we're going to use this equation. So our length equals our area, which is 12, they gave it to us, divided by our width, which is 2. So this equals 6. So our length equals 6. So now if you're given the area and the width and you have to find length, we're going to use the same equation. So we're going to do length equals, we got 12m squared minus 6m divided by 2m. So this is where I'm talking about we have 2 terms on top. So we divide each of those 2 terms by what's on the bottom. So for start, we're going to do 12 divided by 2, which is 6. And then we're going to subtract our exponent. So we have 2 minus 1, which is just going to be 1. Then we do the next one. We do negative 6 divided by 2, which is going to be negative 3. And then you have 1 minus 1, which is cancels. So our final answer would be 6m minus 3. Okay. Next one, given the area of a rectangle, find the width. So we're doing the same thing. So we have width equals our area, which is 10x cubed minus 15x divided by 5x. So we're going to divide each of these by each other. So we're going to do 10 divided by 5, which equals 2. And then I do 3 minus 1, which is 2. So I'm going to get x squared. Then I'm going to do negative 15 divided by 5, which is going to give me negative 3. And x minus x cancels. So this is my final answer. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions on this. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay, it says find the quotient. You guys, the quotient is the answer to a division problem, so keep that in mind. So we're going to divide these two. We're going to take 5x squared minus 6x cubed, or 9x to the 5th minus 6x cubed plus 12x squared divided by 3x squared. So I'm going to divide each of my terms. I'm going to do 9 divided by 3, which is 3, and then 5 minus 2, which is 3. Then I'm going to do negative 6 divided by 3, which is going to give me negative 2. And then 3 minus 2, which is going to give me just 1. Then I'm going to do 12 divided by 3, which is 4. 2 minus 2 is 0, so that last term doesn't have a variable. And that's my answer. Okay, next problem. We're going to do the exact same when finding the quotient. So we're going to have 4x to the 6th plus 16x to the 4th minus 8x squared divided by 4x squared. So I'm going to do 4 divided by 4, which is 1. 6 minus 2, which is 4. Then I'm going to do the next term. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And the last one, negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. 2 minus 2 is 0, so that variable goes away. That's my answer. So we have to do, we're dividing with our coefficients, each of our coefficients, and then subtracting our exponents. So I'm also going to tell you this. If your top of your division has 3 terms, you're going to have 3 terms in your answer. You're never going to lose a term, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go down and classify our polynomials. So degree is our biggest exponent. So our biggest exponent on this one is 4. So it's going to be quartic. And the number of terms, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So this is a polynomial. Okay, our biggest one is 3. So this is cubic. We have 2 terms, 1, 2. So this is a binomial. Next one, I have no exponent, so our degree is 0, and this is constant. I have 1 term, so this is a monomial. Next one, my biggest exponent is 2. So this is quadratic. I have 1, 2, 3 terms. So this is a trinomial. Last one, I just have x. So I have an exponent of 1. So this is linear. And I just have 1 term. So this is a monomial. And you guys will certainly get a word bank on the test. So you at least will have these words listed. You won't have to just pull them out to spell them. Okay, the last one says, given the perimeter of this triangle, find the length of the missing side. So our first step is we have to add our 2 sides together. So we're going to combine like terms. So 2x squared, there's nothing to combine with it. We have 4x and 5x, which gives us 9x. And we have negative 4 and a positive 5, which gives me a positive 1. I then take this and subtract it from our total. So we're going to have 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 minus this. So we're going to move this over here. 2x squared plus 9x plus 1. So our first step is we have to distribute this negative. So everything in the second set of parentheses changes signs. So the first parenthesis stays the same. Positive becomes a negative. Positive becomes a negative. Positive becomes a negative. So those all change signs. Combine our like terms. So we got 2x squared minus 2x squared. That just cancels. 3x and negative 9x gives us negative 6x. And then negative 5 and negative 1 will give us a negative 6. That is my answer. So classification, exponent's 1, so it's linear. 2 terms, so it's a binomial. This is a linear binomial. Binomial. Okay. Let us know if you guys have any questions on the notes today, and you guys can get started on your homework.